Hey friends, so I'm Chris and I am back in my VR world. Not much has changed here. Oh, that's new. I don't generally look around too much, and I guess the ceiling fan moves now. But the mirror that's different. I'm not going to mess with that because it's got nothing to do with me. So I'm going to hook up my thing to my thing, and we're going to get into Unity real quick, which is the software that I use to make my games. So I don't know how much you know about what I've been doing in here, but when I'm not working in concerts and stuff, I work with food, and when I'm not doing that, I make VR games, and they're not very good. In fact, they're real weird. But I'm working on it. Um, so right now, this is my game Purgatory, and we're just kind of in this loading space. It's not loading yet. I haven't told it to. But it gives me a chance to pick up this here firearm, and this is an infinite ammo firearm. It just it just keeps right on shooting as much as I want. And there's two of them, so I can just. Oh, that was weird. But yeah, so you get the idea. So I'm gonna get rid of those. I don't need them for anything. Actually, you know what? They're a little fun to have. So I'm gonna keep one because in order to do what I need to do the right way, I have to have a free hand. So I'm gonna put that on there and that on there, and you'll find out in a minute what those are if you don't already know. So this is a UI screen, and because I'm new at this, it doesn't do what it's supposed to, but it does allow me to hit this button. But then everything's going to freeze up and it may or may not continue recording. So I'm going to sit here and my entire screen is frozen. I can look around and it gets crazy, but it's all there. I don't know if that comes through on the video. You might just see me staring straight forward at a dot. You might not even hear me. But right now the computer's loading the game because this isn't just running in the headset. This is hooked to a larger PC, and it takes a couple of minutes. And I always spawn in up to my neck in the gravel, so I need to fix that. And I also spawn in underneath the world, which is fine. I did that on purpose. I'm gonna turn down the volume in the room I'm in because uh, it's a lot louder for me than it is for you. So you're not going to hear these wonderful jetpacks. They they take me places. If you watched my earlier videos from a long time ago, you will remember a bit of a different play experience. The jetpacks are weird right now. As soon as I stop moving forward with them, as soon as I stop thrusting, I just stop dead in the air and I fall. You will remember that a long time ago, you didn't fall faster the farther you fell, and now that works. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, but anyway, so right now I'm just kind of bebopping around underneath the world, and you know what? This thing is something I'm kind of working on. I want to build a Gundam. Oh, we're above ground now. I want to build a Gundam, and so I have a cockpit and a left shoulder and upper arm built. Um, at least kind of built. Oh, how about we just get up on there? So it's kind of built, and it doesn't move. None of it really works yet. Um, I'm trying to decide how I want to make it work, but I did put some effort into this over the last week or so. Um, the spot we are now, this big open field, used to be the biggest mountain in the whole place. Oh, yeah, the reason I have the blue giant here, he's there to show me scale for how big I want this Gundam mech thing to be. Oh, and yeah, he fell out. I don't know why his head was still moving for a second, but whatever. Oh yeah, ragdoll stuff is great. I can just kick him and he's way over there. Let's see. There he goes. Ugh. So my frame rate's a little glitchy right now, and I'm not sure what's up with that. Um, I'm operating in a new environment for this game. I kind of moved a bunch of I rebuilt the foundation of the game and then moved the objects into that. And so certain things are working better, certain things are not. Um, and I'm kind of troubleshooting it to figure it out. Now, when I had the game before, there were the jetpack races. Those still exist, but they're not yet available in this iteration of it. There's 2 jetpack races, and I haven't brought them in yet because the jetpacks just feel wrong. They don't, they're not the same as they were before, and I need to find a way to go back to the old way, even if it's just for the jetpack race. Because right now, you don't have any momentum. You just stop dead and fall. And that's not how physics works. Um, but yeah, so this is the area where the jetpack race would start. You'd go in this building here, and you'd press a button, and some rings would show up with fire in them, and you would start going whoosh through all the rings. And it takes you a couple minutes to get through to the end, and you end up way on the other side of the map. I recently had the cable for my headset that hooks it to the computer. It shorted out, and I wasn't getting a proper signal and couldn't do any testing. I couldn't even fly around in the world. So I had to order a new part. And while I was waiting for that, I did some terrain editing. And this used to be a mountain, a giant one, and I flattened it and built another one exactly the same as it next to it. Well, not exactly the same, but the same kind of topography. I built them separately. They're not like a copy paste sort of thing. Oh, and we do fall really fast when we fall now. So if you're afraid of heights, I apologize for that. The way I had it set up before was a lot easier on the stomach, I guess, because as you fall, you wouldn't accelerate. You would reach it was a really slow descent. But now, uh, it's a little different. So you actually get going, you start pretty slow, but you end up really, really, really fast. And I just jetpacked my way from hitting the ground. But there's this weird glitch about the jetpacks. So I just fell all that distance, but I never hit the ground. So my momentum still hasn't canceled out. So if I fly up and I let go, I'm going to fall as if I've been falling off a building already. So like my speed is already really high, and I just added to it again. I think I'm probably pretty close to terminal velocity, but that momentum won't cancel out. And I'm thinking about using that as a game function, like a super stomp. Um, but I gotta see how I can work that in. It's a cool concept that I've enjoyed daydreaming about. So I was saying I got rid of that mountain over there, and I did it to another one right here. And I have some really cool plans for this mountain. It used to be about 3 times this height. It was one of the tallest areas in the entire game, and it's still pretty much inaccessible. I'm gonna build a path up to it, and you're gonna have to do stuff to be able to go up that path. Uh, but it looks like this, and I guess you're gonna fight some stuff and some dudes, and there might be some soldiers. I'm kind of doing a soldiers thing. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking like medieval soldiers, like not quite Skyrim-y. Like these dudes know about modern times and they just don't have the stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of concepts bouncing around in my head. But so it's a pretty big area here, and so I think that you would come up through this area, and so I'm gonna make a pathway that goes down. Right now, there's just this road over here that I destroyed while creating it. Um, I'm a little sniffly. So when you come in here, you're gonna. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong-handed for that. There we go. I was telling you I have some frame rate issues. Now it depends on where I'm looking, I think. If I move over here, see, it smooths way out. Now the gun doesn't stick perfectly to my hand, but when I start looking this other direction, it gets real choppy. And that's because this map is 14 and a half square kilometers. I think that's what it was. It's a real big place. My player can't crouch yet, but I can jump. I don't do any other cool tricks or anything, but I do have the gun. And it leaves bullet holes for a little while. Ooh, that's a nice view. I haven't seen this yet. Now, sometimes the things that show up in the video are not the way that I see them in my headset right now. But in my headset right now, a bunch of trees in the distance are white blocks instead of trees. And that is an artifact left over from when I transitioned this into a new environment. Um, I have to go back to some of the trees and reconfigure the meshes that I have installed on them. They're not the right ones, and I know what the problem is, but I just haven't had a lot of time to do it. I've been studying code and learning a lot of different types of ways to manipulate the information in the game, to make different game concepts come together. And I'm trying to find ways to streamline the code that I wrote for things like the jetpack race, where they're not even in this game yet, and it's still slow. Um, but there's a lot of objects in this game, and I'm coming up with ways to make it so that when you're not near something, it literally doesn't exist. Like, not even the computer isn't rendering it, but the computer isn't thinking about it. It's not running the scripts for it. None of the code is going through the system, and it really allows everything to move a lot smoother. And I can set it so that when I get within a certain range of a location, it sets a trigger that allows those objects to load in the background before I actually see them. Now, it's a question of, is that loading process going to be more taxing than just having those objects all the time in the game anyway? And that is going to depend on how much of the game I can have omitted by being distant from it. One of the problems in this game when I'm using the jetpacks is from up here I can see everything. But if none of that stuff's loaded in, then it's going to look wrong. Kind of like the trees right now are just white blocks in the distance. Oh, what is that? Oh, before I flattened the tallest point in the game, I put a table uh, on top of it and some other stuff. And some of that stuff had gravity. But these three barrels are uh, not they don't have any gravity. So I could actually stand on them if I can get above them. There. So these barrels, the bottom of them is at 2,500 meters above sea level. And it's actually sea level is the wrong term for it. The zero level is about 20 meters below the water. Um, and this is 1,500 meters above that. So the problem would be like if I made it so that that castle you can barely see it, or even that castle, because of the distance I am from it, it's rendering poorly. Um, but if I set it, there's ways to set it so that it doesn't try to render. Um, there's a lot of issues with VR because with a computer screen or a phone screen, your camera stays pretty much in one spot. It doesn't vibrate, it doesn't shake, it doesn't have micro movements to it. But your VR headset does. And so it's really easy to, you see a lot of shaking where lines that are supposed to be straight together are kind of glitching as they pass each other. Like there's this skyscraper thing I started making way off in the distance over there, and it's got a lot of vertical pillars. And from here, they're all kind of choppy and blocky and flashing. Like they really catch your eye, like Christmas lights. And it's hard to not see it. And I think that makes the game bad. So I need to work on that concept of how far away things can be. I've tried incorporating fog, and there's still some fog down there. I need to bring more of it, but the way the fog works, um, if I use it to block my vision of objects, it also blocks the light coming through from the sky. So everything becomes pitch black. I've thought about having it so that my character has its own light, so that as I move around in the world, it becomes illuminated around me, but then you don't get to see any of this stuff. Um, which also means that I don't have to work so hard to make the world pretty, but at some point, I'd like the players to be able to see it in the daytime, because I put a lot of work into making it pretty for the daytime, and it's, you know, certain sections of it are really nice, and I like them. Oh, so yeah, that section over there is brand new. That section there, the higher part, the shelf above, I uh I made that this week. I flattened out the area over there on top. Um and I did some terrain work over here. Um Oh, and I created this giant plane in the middle. Um, the plateau, the flat, which is funny because there's a little pub over there I called the Flatlander Inn. And with this being the much flatter land, I think I need to do some renaming. So I think I'm falling as fast as I can fall. And this is right where we were when we entered the game. And I hope you've enjoyed yourself watching me run around in here so far. Um, see, like I'm saying, the fog is super, like it can get really oppressive when you get down into it. I have it set pretty light right now, so it's not a big deal. But if you're not careful, it can get out of hand. I'm gonna climb up to the castle. So I do have some enemies in the game. In fact, there's one right now. They're having trouble locating me, which is a problem that I need to solve. I don't know what caused them to stop recognizing me, so I need to revisit their script real quick and see if I changed something about what they're looking for. Um, but yeah, they're the same. This is the female version of the giant over there, which, as you can see, is freaking giant. We walked pretty far to get away from him and to get over here. So this is one of my enemies, and right now she is animated, like her arms are moving in the idle animation. If she recognized I was standing in front of her, she would be running at me right now and swinging her arms pretty violently. It's kind of scary. There are two more of them, but since the last time I programmed their navigational script, I changed a lot of the terrain. So they're possibly walking under mountains, or floating in thin air somewhere. Because this used to be a whole thing of mountains, and now it's absolutely not. Like, and the way they're programmed, they'll just walk wherever they are told the ground is. So if they were down here and going for a walk, they would just walk straight across like nothing, like there was ground beneath them right here. But usually they're easier to find. They don't generally get too far. There's only a couple of places they go. I've caught them up in here before. Down in the flat there where we saw the one. And I deleted the foliage so you can't really see that this is a path, but there's a path that comes up here. And they make their way up here, and sometimes they get stuck right here staring at this bridge, which hasn't happened this time. And I've also seen them up on here, but never up this far. They tend to stay on the paths I made, which is, kind of nice. Like, it's really nice. So that's weird. I only found one. Well, it does randomly decide how many it's going to spawn. And it can do up to 3. So I think last time it only did 2, and this time it looks like it only did the 1. I keep forgetting that that's there because for no reason it often just defaults to 3. Kind of like for no reason it defaults to this lady doesn't chase me anymore. Story of my life. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, so this is a world that I've been working on since I started game development in February of 2022. So I've been doing this for less than a year. Right now, as this is being recorded, it's beginning of December. And I also took 5 months off from May until like November to do concert work. So this is really stuff I made over 4 months, starting from I have no idea what I'm doing to I kind of know what I'm doing, but it's really glitchy and my computer and my Oculus hates it. I Over the weekend I took some code courses through Udemy. I'm working with the C# programming language, and I don't know other programming languages to compare it with, but I like the way it thinks about things. So I think it works well for video games, but like I said, I don't know the alternative well enough to make an informed decision about it. Oh, so this is becoming one of my favorite spots, and I made it this weekend, but I really like the way it turns into this stone area with the dirt path. And then it turns back into grass when you get over here. Like, I feel like birds should be chirping. And I really love this view, except the way that you probably can't see it in whatever you're watching. You're probably watching this on your phone. But the level of detail changes as you get closer to some objects. And I did it with the terrain because, you know, there's a lot of it, and I didn't want to be rendering all that detail for 14 and a half square kilometers. It's like 5 miles, 5 square miles. It's a big place. I haven't even really been over here yet. Yeah, I really like it. Pretty soon I'll get the jetpack races back into it, but I'm finding a way to make it so that when I'm doing the jetpack race, I'm using the old player character. I still have a copy of it, uh, so I can turn that back on. But the way that the player is linked to this character is pretty rigid, and I need to figure out a way to turn that on and off when the jetpack race scene starts. So a scene in Unity, Unity's the software I'm using for this, I told you. Um, but a scene is kind of like, it's like a folder that just contains a whole bunch of stuff that goes together. Um, and never interacts with other stuff. Um, except in rare circumstances like the player. Um, but each jetpack race I have in its own scene, so they don't interfere with each other. I had them so that they can operate in the same scene, but I also, by taking them out of the scene, it's less stuff for the computer to have to think about. And so now I have them so you have to press a button to make them load, and then all these rings show up that you fly through. Um, and eventually I'm going to make it so that these jetpack, uh, you never have to pick these up. Just when you start the race, they show up on your hands. And when you finish the race, they disappear. That's how that's going to work. Because I really can't be having everybody flying all over the map the whole game. But I definitely want the jetpack races to stay. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But anyway, that gives me the opportunity to make another version of this terrain that's much more highly detailed for when you're walking about. Because when you're flying around, like, this terrain's great. Like, I don't have a problem with this. But when I start getting towards the ground, I start realizing that the detail isn't really that great. Like, that's not sticks and stuff. Like, I need to not have my ground look like this. And I also don't want to have to render a ton of high detail or take the time to perform the task of painting it all. Uh, it takes a long time to paint the terrain. Um, and there's a whole lot of it. Ooh, I have a couple of meshes down here with the wrong color or with the wrong material on them. In my headset, they're showing up as pink. There's these archways under the bridge here. And the mesh is missing its material or has an outdated version of a material. And I'll just have to run an update on it. This is one of the areas where I have a jetpack race. This over here is not, though. I like this spot. I really want to do... I want to play golf up here, like have a driving range where you just shoot balls off into the ocean. And so you come up onto here. And then you also, where's the other one? There's a different, oh, the lower one is the better one. But you can do it up here too, as soon as I get the golf club stuff. Or make the golf club stuff. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to make it. I'm getting better at the making stuff thing. I decided to take a little time off from making stuff from this game, and I'm working on educating myself on code. I was telling you that before. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm using the same kind of code, the same programming language that I use for making this game. I'm using it for something for my job, and it's not VR, sorry. I'm making an iPhone app that handles a lot of the thinking work that my department has. Um, so you pretty much be able to press a couple of buttons and have it run all of the logic of across the data that I've collected over the last couple of years, and be able to print out informed decisions about what the department should do uh, in the days ahead, stuff like that. So it's kind of, I guess I'm making an AI to do the thinking at my job so I don't have to. And I'm putting it on an iPhone. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Uh, and I'm doing that for practice because making video games is really hard. And I really want to get good at it while also learning how to do other things that might be, more profitable or helpful for me. Like, I am actually making this software for my job because it's helpful for me. I'm the person who doesn't have to do the thinking now. Um, and I guess I'll just make the software complex enough that no one else but me can run it. But I win. Job security. Anyway, I have this place. This is one of the dungeons. Right now, it's the only one of the dungeons because I haven't made any more because they're actually hard to make. Um, this one I think I took about a week on so far. It's got a couple of corridors I haven't finished, and we're about to see those. Also, there's these big, huge sliding doors that come down from above, and they block off this entire thing. And they're not here right now, but they will be. Oh, I always forget that these are up here. Oh, yeah, I gotta fix that. I don't know if you can see them. Pink things sometimes don't show up in the video, but there's fire here that has the wrong mesh on it, so I have to fix that. If I go in that room, I get stuck. It's a glitch, and I need to fix it, and I haven't. It's been that way for months, and I'm lazy. This one's not glitched, but it brings you back underneath the world. That's a really weird pond up there. It's a concept I'm working on. Not yet ready for prime time, but what is, you know? So yeah, I got this place, and so this is eventually going to be a room out here. Right now, it's not, and you can see through walls when you're on the outside. Uh, the way that I've made this, so I didn't want it to waste the energy rendering the outside of walls you will never see. Kind of like, uh, why would I do the underside of the ground? Like, this is a subterranean hideout. Nobody's ever going to be on the other side of the walls. Um, this one is also a trap. If you go in there, it's a glitch and you get stuck and you got to reboot the game. I know the way through the maze. I know the way through the maze. Because I built the maze. Oop. Only works if I go the right way. But then you get out to here, and this is really deceiving. I don't know if you can see the detail, but this is ice, and it's got these little ridges in it that look really realistic. Although it's got this white sheen to it at an angle, and I need to work on that. It's called a parallax, I think. I'm not sure, or a refraction probe. The refraction angle, that's what it is. I have to adjust that. So the problem with going through all this is I am going to have to come back out. And you can't see the walls unless you're directly looking at it. Otherwise, it doesn't show up at all. Um, so you're gonna have to do some fighting in here. Um, but that's a spiral staircase, and you can't get to it from here. Oh no, I can't get to the staircase because of this ice wall. Dang. I'll come. Nope, I can't come over there. Oh, but that goes up. Oh man. Oh, but I can't get it. I wonder, can I grab it? Nope, can't grab it. It's ice. And I'm not even going to use my jetpacks because I built these sons of bitches for jumping. I don't know why they're glowing brighter than the other glass. The other ice. I didn't want them to. I just wanted them hard to jump on. And so this gets you over this ice wall here. And so you just come down this side. And I'm going to have some stuff here that you've been able to see the whole time. Every time you went past there, you've been able to see what was here. So there's going to be some treasure here that you had to, beat whoever was in that room to get. Oh no, did I just drop my... I lost my jetpack. There it is. That was going to be bad. Because this is my way out. Not that I'm going to go over anything. I can just go through all of this faster. So I built this this spiral staircase over here. There's another one up further. We'll get to that. It shakes my head. So I went up that, and then we're going to come around through the hallways. It's a maze. I made a maze because I'm a dick. I'm a terrible person who makes mazes with invisible walls. Oh, that was my speedrunner trap. So then you're going to come out here and you're going to have to fight a big dude who, and there's some people up there that are going to be watching, and they're not up here yet, but they're going to be. And I might have a door going through here. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so the only place to go is up there, but you won't have your jetpack, so the only way to get up there is going to be this, and it will be blocked off until you defeat the boss. But then you go up this, and then there's going to be something else happening here before you can go into this room. I just think every room's going to have a boss or some sort of tougher thing to do at the end of the easy part. I don't know. I'll probably change it up a lot as I go. So I made scaffolding. This has been here since May. This was one of the last areas I made before I took a break. Actually, I think this might have been in June. I took a little weekend to make some stuff. There's a white thing on the wall right there, and it's actually a UI that's way off in the distance, but you can see it through everything. It really makes me mad. So this table is where I keep a key, but the key is not in the game right now because it is for the doors that we didn't have to go through because there's no key. But yeah, I haven't installed them yet, but I did set them up in the original version of the game. So now we're going to try to go back through this as fast as possible. See how fast I can get back out of my maze here. Oop. All right. It's actually really hard to go fast through here. I am not putting a jetpack race in this, although it might be fun. An indoor jetpack race through hallways. But this is another one of the reasons why I don't want to have the jetpacks available all the time in the game, because you can just skip through entire sections of the game without really having to do anything. Gravity is a really good obstacle in gameplay, and I am not giving it up by letting everybody in the world have jetpacks all the time. However, as admin, I will always come into this place with jetpacks. I'll be the one person in the world who can always have his jetpacks on. Actually, I don't know if I can, because in order for me to have jetpacks on, I would have to have the, I'd have to make it so it renders. Actually, no, I wouldn't have to, because I wouldn't care if it didn't. The other players would. So they just don't get jetpacks. Huh. But yeah, so I'm enjoying the building this game, and I'm going to keep on doing it for a long while, I think. But yeah, so I'm going to get out of this game now. I'm going to close it off by coming back to where we started, over by our mech. And just in case you have stayed with me this whole time, I commend you. And I guess we can try to have a little fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, because I really can't reach him. Did I get him? Nope, I got a gun though. Can I reach him? No, I can't. Sorry, kids. I really wanted to grab this dude and carry him up into the sky. Oh, did it? Nope. No, I gotta be able to grab you. So, okay, I guess that was fun for you. But that's the mech dude thing, model, contraption. We'll see how it turns out. I've been working on it for a few days and I only have a couple pieces. But anyway, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to quit the app that hooks my Oculus to the computer so that I can stop the video. I'm going to get out of this. Come on, disable Oculus Link, disable. And I'll press this button. And then I'm going to say end recording, and then it's going to do that. So, in case I don't see you, bye. Oh, bye. End recording.